Is it still muted?
Nope, it's not
Nope.
muted.
Good.
I don't know why we have problems with it every single week. Every week. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Blessings of the Lord rest upon you today. Good evening. Where y'all coming from today? Where y'all at?
Guten Abend.
Hello, Mother J. Hello. Hello. You watching? Tell us where you're from. Come on, Siler City, Sanford, Pittsboro. Let's go.
Holly Springs,
Chapel Hill,
Texas,
Africa, Belize.
Yeah,
Germany.
Frankfurt is Germany.
No, I was trying to say whatever.
France.
Berlin
is Germany.
What about Bear Creek?
Bear Creek, right around the corner.
Hornet County. She's talking about Hornet County.
Yeah.
Welcome, Hornet County.
Welcome, Hornet County.
We welcome you to today. So good evening. What we ask y'all to do every week. I like this. Can you come a little closer to the mic? I want to be close to the people. Let's get close to the people. So we always ask y'all to do one thing for us, and that is what? Like and share this video, right? Because we got some good stuff coming on tonight. Are y'all ready for it?
Do?
Yeah, we got a good subject tonight. The subject is, go ahead and like and share that. Let me put this up there for you. Watch this. So I'm going to help you out. Oh, if you got first time with us, we want to welcome you tonight to our Faith Family Flow. This is the time where Sabrina and I, we come together and we just talk about family things, family, because, family is very, very important. Yeah. And God has just been ministering to us about getting back to the basics of family, because I remember a time we used to always go to my grandmother's house Sunday after church, and everyone would come over and we would always eat and everything like that. And now everybody's just kind of doing their own thing. Everybody's kind of going all the different places and doing their own things and stuff like that. So, we want to get back to the family. Somebody say family tonight.
Family.
Yeah, family. Okay. So.
That wasn't so exciting.
It wasn't.
Family.
Say it like you mean it. Say family.
Family.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Anyways. So
yeah, the way you say, "Oh, yeah, family," it's your family.
Yeah. Hey, Latoria, congratulations on your job. Yay! We're so happy for you. We're so happy for you. We're gonna get along with this. Okay, it's supposed to be down so that you can look in there, and it's like you're looking at them. The higher it is, the higher your eyes go up. I know this because I was on TCT television, and they told me that. Well, I was seeing millions of people around the world. Thank you. So anyway. Let's go for it. So let's go. Y'all ready? Okay, so we're coming out of Galatians chapter 5 tonight, verse 13 through 15 in the Living Bible. It says this: "For dear brothers, you have been given freedom, not freedom to do wrong, but freedom to love and serve each other." Let's stop right there. Freedom to love and serve each other. It kind of makes me think about what we were talking about last week when we were talking about the different attitudes and the prodigal son but this week we want to really touch on, do we love our brothers and sisters? Can we serve our brothers and sisters? Or is it all about us? Is it all about us? For this says this. It says, "For the whole law can be summed up in this one command: love others as you love yourself. But if instead of showing love among yourselves, you are always critical, catty, watch out, beware of ruining each other." I thought that was so powerful. It says this. It says, love others as you love yourself. Sometimes people can't love others because they don't love themselves. Think about it. Do you agree with that? What do you think? What would you say makes people not love themselves?
What makes them not love? Comparison.
Okay.
A lot of people compare themselves and always think somebody else looks better, somebody else has a better figure, somebody else has a better job, so somebody else is more intelligent, more wise. And so, That's good. If you compare yourself, you think less to others that are higher, or where they're at, then you think less of yourself.
That's good. That's good. So if you
There's
think
one thing to compare yourself because you're striving to do better, but it's another that when you're doing that because you're not satisfied with who you are and where you're at.
So what would you say, would make people not be satisfied where they're at in life?
Mm, what would make people not feel satisfied? I don't know. Different things. I don't know. In some cases, it could be just themselves. Like some women, I know a lot of times women feel fat or their hormones, so it just kind of goes. One day they feel pretty and cute and go, okay, I don't look so bad. And another day it's like I'm fat, I hate myself. Different things. Or it could be marriage that miserable marriage expectation. We talked about that yesterday. Expectations, not knowing your place in a marriage, or it could be finances because we abused money. We didn't use money, but we spent money. Therefore, we abused it. Okay, so that can make you miserable.
Yeah.
You telling me I got bad breath could make me miserable.
I would never say that. Never.
He told me, oh, Brina, your breath. I said, you want me to go? You want to preach? I'm fine with that. You want me to go? You got that breath? Okay, so that can make you just, different things can make you miserable. And you not know, like I said, really in a marriage, not knowing your place, well, you not knowing who you are, you not being connected to God, can make you miserable because one moment you're happy and you want to be like this, another moment you're happy to be like this, another moment you want to make this person happy. The happy is, like you said, happenstance, just how it happens.
Bit of a situation.
Situation,
Bria said this: when people don't realize there's a purpose in everything, to include pain, that's a key factor in feeling miserable.
That's good.
Yeah, you have to realize that the pain, okay, let's go with a woman who's having a baby. The 9 months she carried that baby, but when she's delivering that baby, there's pain. Purpose. There's pain in there, but once the baby comes out and you see the baby, the pain was worth it. And so sometimes that's had to happen to us in life. We have to go through some pain, but once you come through the pain and you look at the blessings that God has for you, it was all worth it.
It makes me think of this other pain, like, two different pains. Pains when you know the purpose.
Yeah.
You kind of know you got to go through it to birth that. And then you have the pain that's been done to you. And now you don't know how to work out that pain and work through that pain, because something has been thrown upon you. And now that's the consequences of the pain somebody else has caused. So, wow, how do I get through this?
How do I get through? Hold on, Brenda. Let's take a real quick commercial. David Flannery says, I'm supposed to be there in Wilmington working with him. He told me that I could not do the job that he does. So I told him that I would be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. He never sent me the address, and that's why I didn't come. So it's on you, David. Okay, commercial's over. Let's go back to what we were saying. So we're talking about walking in the love of God, is led in Galatians 5:22. Live your life in the fruit of the Spirit, which is what? Love, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, meekness, and temperance. I love those because, which one would you say that you struggle with the most out of the fruit of the Spirit? Would it be joy? Would it be peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, meekness, or temperance? Which one would you say that you struggle with the most? Or is you?
Is nonsense in there? Oh, I don't know. I don't know which one. Faithfulness, long suffering. I don't know. I would need somebody else to tell me because I think I'm pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what do you think that? You know how as women we think we're all that.
Yeah.
So what do you think I have an issue with? Or not issue, but where I could improve in?
I think we all can improve in temperance. Sometimes we go off the handle. Have you ever, you all out there, y'all talk to us tonight. Have you all ever been to the point where everything just gets on your nerves? Everything just gets on your nerves. Have you ever been to that point before? God is bringing something greater out of our pain so we can rejoice because there's purpose in our pain. Yeah. Have you ever been to that place? Patience. She says she struggled with patience. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Because we all patience. I think patience and temperance, to me, they kind of go together because a person can the temperance. If you don't have patience, it makes you have a temper, and now you get a temper. Now you get an attitude. Once you get an attitude, then you get angry. Once you get angry, you get mean, and everything else goes with it. So we have to begin to learn to walk in the love of God, right? So walking in the love of God means these. It means you're going to have some joy in your life. Joy is an inside job. You got to have joy no matter what. You got to have joy. Peace. You have to learn to walk in peace, a peace that surpasses all understanding, which means this: even when you're going through something, you can still say, I have the peace of God on the inside of me, which means this. Now, we were talking about this morning, and she was like, Myron, you're so calm about this situation. I'm learning that there are some situations that I cannot do anything about. So because I cannot do anything about them, there is no need of getting frustrated with the situation. You see?
Okay. So with temperance, and I almost thought that's why I had to look it up. I love words and writing. That's why you see me. I'm better in writing than I am speaking. Mm-hmm. I just love writing. So I looked up this word temperance because I almost thought that doesn't sound like what I thought it was. Okay. So practice of self-control, moderation, restraint, particularly avoiding excesses or indulgences. So it often refers to moderation in habits, especially with regards to desires such as eating, drinking, other pleasures, to maintain balance and avoid harmful behaviors.
Wow.
That's okay. Good. In the spiritual or in the biblical context, temperance is considered a virtue, emphasizing the importance of self-discipline and the ability to control one's impulses and desires, often seen as part of living a righteous and balanced life.
Wow. You got that, Minister Anthony? Living a balanced life.
Restraint. Everything has a balance, not to overindulge. Yeah. And we tend to do that a lot. Yeah. You know, if something is good, and I'm just thinking of food right now, if it's good, I can't just do, like they say, a cup. I got to do 3-4 cups. Got to get seconds. But it's self-control. Everything you do in moderation. Yeah. So maybe that's something I would say maybe we all kind of struggle with too. We always talk about love and peace and all that stuff, but what about temperance? Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah, but you said self-control, or if you flip it, control yourself.
Yeah.
We have to learn to control ourselves. I mean, just think about it. How often, let's be real tonight, this is Faith Family Flow. How often during the week do you allow things to agitate you? How often do you allow things to get under your skin? How often do you allow things to get on your nerves? How often do you get to the point that I don't want to be bothered today?
Fly off the handle.
I'm flying off the handle. If someone says anything to me today because I'm not in a good mood. Well, when you think about walking in the love of God, those are not attributes of God. Anger is not an attribute of God. Not being able to control yourself is not an attribute of God, Frustrated, disillusioned, hard to get along with. You have some people who are just really hard to get along with, Mom J. They just hard. No matter what you do, they're hard to get along with. But you always have to ask God, give me patience, because I've learned this in life, that when God puts a person like that into my life, he's sharpening me. He's sharpening me. And it does not feel good to be sharpened. When you do a knife and you sharpen it on a butcher thing, and you just sharpen it, right? It doesn't feel good to that knife at that moment. But once you begin to cut that knife, it slices right through that. So we have to get to the point in our lives where we know how to control ourselves and not fly off the handle.
Yeah. You know what? When you said that, it reminded me of, how in ministry you learn about the different personalities and the different helping people overcome different, hurts and pains. And with some people, they are so difficult. You get frustrated with them because you're trying to get them to a place, but it's like they don't want change. They don't want to do better. It's like you want better for them, and you give them all the tools and you give them all the strategies, and you read and you meet with them, you mentor them, and it's like, you don't get it.
You don't get
and
it.
I remember God sending me one person, and I ended up getting so frustrated. I was like, dude, I'm gonna offend you right now, but you're not going nowhere in life. So I did offend him, and I kind of whatever he took from me, he took, and maybe the rest I kind of messed up, with him because I got, I lost self-control. And then he sent another person. It's like that spirit you're trying to tackle, and for them to release that and deliver it and overcome and whatnot, teach them, by the way. He sent another person. But, it's not, that's why I say a spirit, because it's not male or it's not all males. So I had the same thing, spirit, if you want to call it that, with a male, and then it was another female. I failed her too, and then it was a third female. So God, it was, sometimes we have to fail 2-3 times, I guess what we're saying. And God, just like God blesses you with people, I think they were a blessing to me, because each time I got better. And I do ask, what you have to do too is ask for forgiveness. Ask God for forgiveness and forgive yourself for messing up the opportunity. But it's not that you literally want to mess up people's lives or ministry, but you get frustrated.
Okay, look what Bria said. This is good. I find it hard to walk in some fruits
of the spirit
when the same attack keeps coming. But that's where your patience has to kick in. Long suffering has to kick in. Temperance. That's when all of the attributes have to kick in one time.
But you fail. Like I said, I failed it 3 times, and now I had a 4th person come like that. And now there was fruit. Now I was, sometimes you fail. I mean, I don't know how long it takes for other people to fail, but I remember, and now I've gotten it. I tackled it. Now, since I have overcome that and I've tackled this task and stretching that God was doing, that same spirit hasn't shown up in a person anymore.
That's good. Okay, so we were to ask you all this. I need y'all to talk to us, because it makes it better when you talk to us, because we can bounce off of different things. Today is Tuesday, right? Today is Tuesday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. How many can say that today is just Tuesday and you've already been frustrated this week with something? Or something or someone has already frustrated you this week. So if I was to ask you that as you type it on there, yes or no, I will ask you, how did you deal with it? Have you dealt with it? Bria said, I am. Okay. What have you applied to get over that thing? What have you applied? Are you trying to apply anything? Because sometimes we just get to the point we don't care. We don't care. And that's not an attribute of God, because God is the agape love, which means no matter what someone does to us, God still requires us to love them. He still requires for us to forgive them. You see? So we have to learn in that self-control and all these other things, when things happen to us, you have to learn to respond and not react. Reacting is of your flesh. Responding is of your spirit. Because a lot of times someone says, as soon as they say something to us, matter of fact, we're ready for them to say something to us, right? And so, when we get to that point in our life, we have to sit back and say, God, okay, what is it about me that needs to change? What is it about me that needs to change? Because there are things that's on the inside of me that need to change. And sometimes, Bria, God will allow things like that to happen again and again, as Sabrina said, until you pass that test. So you have to ask yourself, have I passed that test yet? Have I passed it? I see people don't want. It's so funny how when we get on here, we tell our business, because, we put it out there to help people, but they won't type anything on here, but they understand it.
I know I was frustrated this morning. Look, we're in ministry. We have a flock we care and love for. And I still got to a place where I was mad. I was just mad. I'm like, I'm doing all this. I know I'm doing everything right. Where is that hole? Why does this thing keep coming in and bothering God? I told my husband, I am mad. I'm upset. How does this thing keep attacking? Where usually you're vulnerable, like to when you're prayed up and everything, and you have God in you, but somewhere that enemy got in. What is it that I'm doing that I allow the enemy, subconsciously the enemy to come in? Where is this attack coming from? And why is this attack coming? And God, why am I not hearing you in this matter? Do I have broken glasses right now? Am I not listening? Am I not asking the right things? You get frustrated at some point. And for me, it was really this morning. I had to just leave the house. I took my little poodle and I had to leave the house and just go to, and get it on out. And it's natural. Like, this is how we grow. This is a moment of growth, and then I kept hearing, fill me up, God, fill me up. Fill me up. I need you right now. I need your presence. I need your strength. I need your love, God, right now. I need to feel you. I need to hear you. Block everything out that is not of you. I just need you right now, God. And you just cry and you look up, like, put a little makeup on now so I look a little better. But my eyes were swollen and I didn't care who. Fill me up, God. Fill me up. That's all I needed that moment. What did she say?
She said, don't be dragging your poodle in this. But I like what Bria said on here. She said, the way I dealt with it was verbally being calm while mentally and emotionally shutting down and running away. That's awesome. That, mentally, and we do that.
What did it say? Leave it up there real quick.
Okay.
What?
She said, the way I dealt with it was verbally being calm. She talked about the situation. While she was talking about the situation, mentally and emotionally, she was shutting down and running away from the situation. See, that's deep. How many times can we say we've done that? And sometimes, we make like things like, oh yeah, everything is good. My life is all this and all that. But you're struggling with things, like she said, on the inside. And I said,
so my question is, that's why I'm trying to process what that means, because, if you're struggling, you're staying calm and you're running. What did it say? You're running?
She's calm about it, but she's still running away.
So how'd you deal with it? Like, because that sounds like you're numbing. And what does running away mean? Like, I'm trying to grasp how you've overcome or dealt, I guess, with it, because to me it sounds like, you're not there. So, and like the eyes, I don't know what that means. So sorry.
That's good. No. If this goes out,
or the window of your soul, they say, right? The eyes are the window of your soul.
But when I hear a person that's numb but speaking. We can be numb about a situation on the inside of us because of so many things that have happened to us, that when we speak, our words mean nothing, because our words are coming from numbness, or they're coming from hurt and pain, but they're not coming from a healed heart. You see, and we can do that a lot. We can do that a lot, Mr. Murphy. We can speak something out of our mouth, but what's coming out of our mouth is not in our heart, because our mouth is speaking one thing, but our heart is shutting down. Our heart is hurt. Our heart is in pain. Our heart is struggling to forgive. Our heart is struggling to love, but we speak something out of our mouth. So I would say, in anything like that, Bria, that's one of those things where you really have to give it to God, put it in his hands, leave it in his hands, and don't take it back by worrying about it. Because a lot of times we can come on here and say, I don't do, I don't, and you actually really struggling with something. You're really struggling with it. So there are things on here that we talked about.
Different ways to express.
Different ways to express it. Yeah.
And Latoya said autopilot. Just monotone. Autopilot.
A cruise. You like cruise in your car where you just put it on and you just cruising along. So you have to get to the point, Bria, I would say, where we give that situation wholeheartedly to God, not some of it, but give it all to God and allow God to, because God will get to in order for you to heal, you have to get to the root of the thing. What is the root of why you're feeling the way that you're feeling? What is the root that has caused you to feel this way? And once you begin to allow God to minister to your heart and show you the root, now a lot of times there is going to be hurt before healing. Because things will have to come up, arise again for God to show you them in order for you to heal. And even sometimes I've learned this, we can put things back in our subconscious of our minds and put a dark curtain and then put them behind that dark curtain, but we never dealt with them. Mm-hmm. We never dealt with them. So the curtain has to be open like this. The curtain has to be open. The situation has to come outside of the dark curtain, and it has to be on spotlight or in the front so that we can deal with the situation. And once you begin to deal with the situation of the hurt or why you're hurting that way, now you can be healed. But as long as we keep it behind black curtains, we'll never heal.
Yeah. And that is probably something you learned from, your previous, like your mom, or,
blame and shame, I feel, is the root, because in my disobedience, we all have been disobedient. We all have fallen short of the glory of God. We all have made mistakes. We all have gone off the handle. We all have done this and done that. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. I've learned this, my story, Bria. I've been to jail and, divorced once and, whoremonger and, drunk and all that stuff like that. But I learned this. If God has forgiven me, I forgive myself, and I don't care what anybody else says.
I talked about this with David the other day, Mr. Flannery, and we, because a lot of men, they suppress or don't cry. And I said, David, I told my brother there are two ways a man can cry. Mm-hmm. And the same is for a daughter. Okay, there's the baby cry with, why is me and why is this happening to me and I can't stand this and I'm just done and I'm just going to give up and throw it. And then there is the man cry or the daughter's cry, which God hears because you want to learn and you're saying, I can do this. I don't know why this is happening, God, but I can do this. That's a daughter's cry. Like, God, show me how to do this. Show me how to overcome. Show me how to get stronger. Give me insight for foresight. And that's exactly how a man cries. It's not going to knock me down. It hurts, God, but I know you're strengthening me. Push me further, God. And that is the two different cries. So next time you cry, and David, maybe that's why we talked about it, because I had to remind myself of that this morning, having all these emotions going through me. A man's cry versus a baby's cry, a daughter's cry or a mother's cry versus a baby's cry.
That's good. Mr. Murphy, he said he has situations at work that are driving him crazy. First of all, we never let anything drive us crazy. But during his travel to and from work, he began to meditate and listen to the old song, I Told a Storm, and to bring a calm place to deal with the issues. I would say, even in that situation, Mr. Murphy, ask God, what is he doing in that situation? Ask him, and a lot of times we're afraid to ask God different things. Ask God, what are you doing in this situation? Because I've learned that in every situation, there's growth. There's growth. And so in order for us to go to the next level, or we always say next level, to the next thing God has for us, or to continue feeling our purpose, there are some hard things we're going to have to go through in life.
And I believe in those times when you do those, cries and talking to God and asking for wisdom, there is a shifting going on in the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. There is movement going on. That's why you're so shaken up too. Mm-hmm. And you're wondering what's going on. Am I in this in between right now? But there's a shifting and a shaking going on. So I believe that after I got, all of that out this morning, for some reason after that, I was so much more clear and productive. Good. And that's why I believe there's a shifting and a shaking going on. So if they say like those tears, they're actually like seeds you're planting, or seed. I don't know what is that, what people say what the tears are. It can mean different things. Anyways, for me, it was like these tears like help me.
Yeah.
It
is a release.
A release.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to cry to release some things.
Get clear, after the rain comes the sunshine. I know it sounds a little weird, but it is really true. It's like God cleared up,
Mm-hmm.
the fog in the mind and everything, the vision. Now it was like all of a sudden I began to just have more clarity, and I was able to be more creative, and I was able to get to work with more power and things I wasn't even thinking of. I know the Holy Spirit had revealed to me.
Miss Edna said many years ago she has Christian church hurt, and they put her in a hard place. It took years for me to get over it, but yes, God healed my hurt, and I was able to forgive and return to my church and walk with the Lord. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing, because I've learned this. One of the hardest things for me, if we're being honest, is when someone hurts me and I still have to talk to them. That's the hardest thing for me. I forgive you, but I have a hard time talking to you because of the hurt. You see, Miss T said reading, crying is good for the brain. That's good. And so, I look at it like that, Miss T, the hardest thing for me is when someone hurts me and I still have to talk to them. And you can't say, oh, well, you're a pastor, you're supposed to do that. No, we're human just like everybody else is human. We got struggles just like everyone else has struggles. And so God is working with me in that area of my life where when someone hurts me, I can forgive them as if they never hurt me. Now that's deep. Think about it. Can you forgive someone who has hurt you as if they never hurt you and you move forward? Or do you hold on to it?
It's possible, but it's really hard, and it's really a matter of maturing. I remember when we were new, not newly in church, but God was still. And I remember there were these a few of these women, and they were, they were just talking about me, and I can't tell you. I felt like it was a type of bullying me. And I remember it hurt really bad, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to influence other people. And I didn't even do what they're saying. They're literally lying, God. And I have to stand there every week and smile. I felt like alone. I felt, like weak. I felt like they were overpowering me. And God would just say, be still. Be still. And I'm like, how long you want me to be still, God? Week after week after week after week. And I tell you, that group of people, God dealt with them and pulled them out. One of the ladies, remember, she even said, I hope God burns down this place. We're like, whoa, those are some powerful words. And she ended up leaving the church. Well, God had her leave the church. And then I remember that group of people that she had poisoned. I don't know how this happened, but at the same time, God picked that group up and just PCS them totally out to other states. Yeah. But then, we moved into the other building from a 4,000 square foot building into the 18,000 square foot building. And we really exponentially grew from there, from like maybe 50 people to over 200. And then God brought her back. And I said, what, God, I don't get this. After all she's done and all she said, you're allowing her to come back? And he said he wanted her to see that whatever, she said, the damage she tried to cause, it wasn't going to stop his purpose. It wasn't going to stop his people, and the growth of that church and that ministry.
Yeah. That's good. Bria said, a lot of times, Bria, and I guess we talking to you tonight. This is your counseling session.
Biggest struggle in my healing process is believing that God still wants that person in a part of my life.
That's when you have to ask him, because it could be not. Sometimes we want people in our lives that God wants out of our lives. Think about it. And because we are human and we have feelings, well, if I don't talk to them anymore, it's going to hurt their feelings, and I don't want to hurt their feelings. Sometimes you have to pull yourself away from people. You have to pull yourself away from people, because if you're damaging me, I can't continually have you in my life damaging me. I can't do it.
I don't know. There are always situations, like you have, let's say, a boyfriend. not you, Bria, but just a situation, because in some cases you can't pull yourself away. You have a boyfriend and you break up and you got to cut soul ties, you got to cut contact, and you got to cut everything out, and that's it. But then you have baby daddy. How are you going to cut him out? You know, in that case, you got to, it's only for children. You can't, you have to have him in your life. That is something that, you know, that is something that was created. And now you got to live with that. And you got to manage that. And you got to make sure that you communicate well and
walk in love. And walk in love. Savannah said the same thing. I think it would hurt my feelings more than it would hurt theirs. Because a lot of times we don't want to let people go. Because if you and a person have been friends for 30 years and something happens and you have to let that person go, that is a hard thing to do. If you've been in a relationship with someone and you love that person and you have to let that person go, that's a hard thing to do. But I have to focus on me. You know, I have to worry about my well-being, my health, my mind, my strength. I have to worry about me more than I have to worry about them. And so God does not want us to operate in our feelings. And feelings is, well, you know, I shouldn't, you know. No, if they hurt me, God, I forgive them. I'm ready to move forward, you know. And that's how I'm looking at things now. Because I used to be the one, and some of you on here, I bet you're going to say you were like this. If someone hurt my feelings, I would do everything that I could to please that person. If they rejected me, I did everything that I could to get that person back in my life, because I felt that I had done something wrong. And so I would, they would say no, and I was like, please be my friend, you know, talk to me. I would go buy things. I would do all of this stuff because I wanted that person in my life. But the older I got, the more I began to say, if you don't want me, you don't want to talk to me, I would rather be in a corner with a blow pop talking to myself than try to be around someone or forcing myself to be around someone who really doesn't want to be around me.
It sounds like some people have never dealt with rejection wounds, you know, not dealing with those wounds, and then you'll keep looking for validation and love from somebody that can't give it to you. You know, so now you're trying to push yourself onto them. You know, if you don't know your self-worth either.
I think we've all have been there though.
Just different people deal with it different, or you know, heal from it differently, process it differently. So I think you, like I always say, I say this a lot. There, you know, were you rejected in life just along the way, or already from the womb, and that makes a big difference in your life. And so the weight of dealing with it is on a whole nother level.
But we all deal with rejection. I mean,
we do.
If I were to ask you all tonight, those that don't mind being honest, you know, how do you deal with rejection? Think about it. How do you deal with rejection? Do you just say, F it and go on about your business? You know, forget it. That was the effort. Forget it. Or do you? Or do you say? What do you say? How do you deal with rejection? Think about it. Some people are just like that. Forget it. They're going about their business. You know, it doesn't bother me, or whatever it may be. How do we deal with rejection? I think one of the things we have to do, one of the things you have to do definitely is go to God and allow God, again, to show you the root of where that rejection came from, and allow him to begin to heal you from that root of that issue. Because some people, they deal with it with anger. Some people deal with it drinking. Miss Amy said the same. I try to act like it doesn't bother me, but in actuality, it does bother me. See, move on. Okay, move on and leave in peace. Don't run them down or talk bad about them. That's easy to say, LaToya. But on the realness of it, can we just move on really in peace? You know, Mr. Murphy said the same thing you said. I just move on. It really doesn't bother me. And my mindset is they were not supposed to be there.
Same with me.
Everybody. Well,
I know Noah's like that too, but then I know that there's your type, like Yeshua.
Yeah.
You and him, it's just really hard. Tears you. It's like, okay, for us, but for you, you're very sensitive.
But that's good about that you said that, because there are areas that I'm stronger in that you're weak in. Mm-hmm. And so we all have a strong area, David, and we all have a weak area, Mr. Jim. We all have a strong area. We all have strong areas, and we all have some weak areas in us. And that's why it's good to stay in the Word of God, prayer and meditation, to allow God to make you strong in every person, not every person, every place in your life. Allowing God to make you stronger in every place of your life. And that comes by spending time with God, because you know what? You become intimate with the one you pray to, the one you pray for, and the one you pray with. You become intimacy. So you got to have that time with God. And I'm telling you, God can heal you. Okay, so Savannah said, how do you protect your heart from becoming hardened by a world we live in? I know the younger people tend to radiate happiness and love because they haven't experienced much heartache. As I get older, I want to continue to radiate positivity and love, but sometimes I think I fall at the rest of the crowd and become hardened. It's one of those things, Savannah, what we just said. You have to get in your Word of God, allow God to strengthen you, allow God to carry you, allow God to guide you, that you don't go into that wrong area. But if you begin hanging around the wrong crowd, then if you're not strong enough, you'll begin to act like the crowd that you hang around. Yeah. You see, if I'm hanging around church people and all the church people doing are gossiping and being messy, then I'm going to end up being gossip and messy, because that's who I hang around.
Or negative.
Yeah.
You're going to become negative.
Yeah.
I have one of the things you can do is turn to prayer. Mm-hmm. And ask for strength, understanding, and guidance. Another one is trust God's timing and plan. Mm-hmm. People have the saying, everything happens for a reason, and that is so.
Let me stop you right there. Remember, answer this. Read that one you just read again.
Which one?
God, you said something about what was the one you just said? You just said it.
Turn to prayer.
Turn to prayer. What's that? Turn to prayer.
Ask for strength.
Ask for strength,
understanding, and guidance. Pour out your heart, and allow God's presence to fill you with peace. There it is again. Fill me up, God. And then you have trust in God's timing and plan.
Okay.
It says it might be a part of God's greater plan for your life. So trust that He may be closing one door to open another. Mm-hmm. Seek your worth in God and not in people. Mm-hmm. People want you to be one way one day and another day. You have to, and stop people pleasing. You're allowed to have your opinion, and you're allowed to be wrong with your opinion today. Yeah. I remember sitting at the table at the conference, and the guy asked me, so what do they call you, elder? Or I said, no, they call me Sabrina or Pastor Sabrina. And he said, I said, they didn't always say pastor and doctor and apostle to Jesus, so I'm just Sabrina. And he said, yeah, they called him rabbi, and I said to him, you know what? I'm just Sabrina, and I can serve as Sabrina and be very effective as Sabrina. That's just where I'm at right now. Yeah. That's my opinion at this time. Yeah. And it works for me. Yeah. You see those big preachers. You see Joyce Meyer. She doesn't have Dr. Apostle Bishop in front of her. She's just Joyce Meyer. Yeah. And look at the impact, she's making it, or Billy Graham, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the impact he had. He just did what God called him to do. I don't, the title is giving me a chance, but it's not making my way. The serving is how I serve, how I lead people. Yeah. And sometimes we can be wrong, and then you'll have people in your circle that, just let you and love you where you're at, because they know God is still working within you. Yeah. They don't put you down and you're a failure and criticize you. No, people that love you and that understand where you're at and the path you're on, they will support and push you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then you have reflect on the lesson.
What did you learn from it? You know,
yes, what might God be teaching?
Yeah. And sometimes, well, let's go a little bit farther with this. Sometimes it's not God teaching us something. Sometimes it's seeds that we have sown. You see?
Yeah.
You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not God teaching us a lesson. It's repercussions from the decision that we have made.
That is good. Because either way, it's an experience.
Yes.
And it's an experience for growth.
Yes.
Whether it's growth for it'll be growth for opportunity. Because either way, that experience, you're going to grow.
Yeah.
Even out of making a bad mistake. And I say there are a lot of intelligent people out there. I always say there's a difference in, and you know this, I'll repeat myself for you. Intelligent and smart are not the same thing. You can be highly intelligent and really not smart, make dumb decisions. It says the person seemed wise until he opened up his mouth and he looked like, he sounded like a fool. So there's a difference, but there's an experience. Either way it goes. Yeah. Yes, either way it goes, there's an experience. Forgive and let go. Ask God for the strength to forgive those. Let go. And let go.
And let go.
Something better is ahead.
Yeah. And I love what you said. I love what you said, Sabrina, when you said, either way it goes, we, all of us have to learn from situations in life.
Yeah.
Good, bad, and ugly. Dr. Darren, we all have to learn from situations in life, right? We all have to learn from that. So let me ask you this. If you were to look back in the last month, just think about it. You don't have to put it on here. Have you learned from your mistakes? Have you learned from some of the things that you've done? Have you learned from them? Because if you don't learn from them, you'll repeat them. Yeah. You see? If you don't learn from them, you will repeat them. So we have to begin to learn from things in life and not just continue moving forward. Sometimes you have to take a step back, reflect. I always, and I tell the boys that, and Sarah and I, we laugh about that because when she would do something crazy, I said, now, what did you learn from that? And I did something one day and she asked me, what did you learn from it? And I got mad. I was like, don't be asking me that. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about me. So, but, in every situation, what did you learn from that, Erica? What did you learn from it? Did you learn that you shouldn't put yourself in that position? Did you learn that you need to take yourself, you can't be around those people? Did you learn that you should have done this differently? Everything in life I've learned that, or learning that to go back, look at it and reflect and say, okay, what could I have done different? I don't get mad at myself because I could have done something different, but I learned from it. Yeah. Life is full of learning.
Mm-hmm. Embrace the experience as a direction.
Yes, that's good. Yeah. Embrace as a direction. Now, don't continue going back and repeating and doing the same thing over and over and over again. You haven't learned anything. Mm-hmm. But you know what? If I tell you one time that the fire is hot on the stove and you go put your hand on it and you see that the fire is hot and you take it off, you shouldn't go back the next day and put your hand back on that fire again. Something is really wrong with you. You really need to get examined. Because not only did I tell you, but you experienced it and you went back to experience it again. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, this is good. Sometimes God tells us things. We go out and do them, what he tells us not to do, and then we go do them again, and we go do them again and again and again and again, and just continue going on doing them. The Bible says, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Once you learn from it, don't continue doing it.
Some of you are just simply hard-headed. Like, you just don't. You're just hard-headed. And you wonder why you're in a standstill. Well, that is why, because you refuse to listen. Or if you do listen, you listen to the wrong people. You always have to know, who are you listening to? Do you see fruit in that person? Mm-hmm. Do you see greatness in that person? Then you can listen from them. Obviously, they're doing something right. And do they love you? Do they have your best interests? Why not listen to them? And then you want to give bare minimum. You just want to be lazy and give bare minimum, but you want extra. You want bonus, but you don't want to give.
Yeah.
So we become a stingy, selfish people that don't want to listen. A people
exactly.
that don't want to listen.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, you know what, I've been in this rut long enough. I've been waddling myself in this mud, pity mud, long enough. These people are successful. I see that, there's fruit. I know that they pray. I see God moving in their life. I see them loving me, loving people. I can learn from them. I can accept from. They won't want harm from me. And then apply what God is giving you through them.
That's good you said that, but as you were saying that, this came to my mind. Well, one of the hardest things I believe, one of the hardest things as far as change is a person who does not see any wrong in themselves. Yeah. No matter what you say to them, they're going to come back with something to make their self look good, Mr. Murphy.
And you got to know if this is a spiritual thing you're going through, or if you really have psychologically something going on with you. And you need to see a doctor. There are doctors that are God sent, and there are medications. I'm not saying pump yourself up with drugs, but there are medications that can level that imbalance. Or is it just stubborn old you, that mule that doesn't want to move forward? That's just this is the way you got through life, through pity. That's how you got attention. That's how you got what you wanted. That's what you're used to. How you're getting your way is through pity. So that's how you got through life, and you don't even know another way. It wasn't always like that, but it functioned for you, and then it developed into a pattern. And now you've just adopted it, and that's why you're at where you're at. That's why people are running from you. That's why you can't keep a husband or a wife, because you refuse to move beyond that pattern, to acknowledge, okay, let me ask somebody that will tell me the truth about myself.
But you can't handle the truth, so why ask for the truth? We always say, tell me the truth. Tell me about myself. Tell me. But when I tell you about yourself, you don't want to be my friend anymore. Why are you asking me?
That's what children do. That's what teenagers do. I've noticed, I won't say teenage, let's say in the spiritual realm, teenagers, you always say I'm wrong. I can't do nothing right. You're always against me. Everything I do is not enough, but then you have people that are wanting to grow. They'll say, thank you for telling me. I didn't even notice that. Really? I've been doing that. I got to change that. I got to, somebody that's eager to learn, you'll notice the difference. And that is for the ones that are teachers, motivators, and mentors. Now, when you discern that, those are the ones you want to pour into, because they are ready. Not that you can't pour into the other ones, but they're just not ready to receive. What you have is you go into prayer, you intercede for these people. So you got a lot for them, and you want for them. But if they're not ready, they can't hear you. They can't receive from you. They're too full of everything else until they surrender and say, God, now I'm ready. And when you hear that, when you discern that, which you're a powerful leader, you will, with the discerning spirit and development, that's where you key into.
This is the last thing right here. We talked about last week. Remember the prodigal son?
Yeah.
He went out. He didn't want to listen to anybody. Spending money, did all of the party, did whatever he did. The Bible says when he came to himself, sometimes God will allow you to get to the lowest point in your life so that you'll come to yourself.
When you just said that, it made me think, so who were you? If you have to come to yourself, who had taken over you? Who had taken over you? and when there are spirits lingering around. Like I said, when you open yourself up to, sometimes vulnerability does that.
Mm-hmm.
Who have you opened yourself up to? Who has taken over? Identify.
Yeah.
Speak it out. Then you decree God's word. Decreeing, you already have in heaven. Now you're decreeing and speaking it into earth. To have, to receive.
Yeah. But again, at the end of the day, you have to want to change. You have to want to forgive. You have to want to walk in love. If you don't have it in your heart, you'll never do it. You never do it. But if it's in your heart and you want to do it and you really yield unto the Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit will guide you in every area of your life. But you have to be willing to listen to hear the voice of God. Because there's a difference, we say, in hearing and listening. Hearing is just with your natural ears. Hearing is with
sound waves.
Yeah. But listening is, I'm hearing what you're saying and I'm going to do something about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Danielle said this, and we
putting into action.
She said, being self-critical is an important step of growing and change behavior, but the person have to be ready for self-reflection, and that can be tough because the devil wants to keep people in a certain mindset. Yeah, exactly. Now let's go with this, and we done, Danielle. He will keep you in that mindset if you allow him to, because when you won't change, just like a person that's on drugs. When they really won't change, they'll go to rehab. They'll do whatever they do to take themselves out of that situation. That's just the way that it is. Mm-hmm. But if you really don't want change, you'll continue making excuses for everything. Mm-hmm. I ain't ready to go yet. I'm good. Ain't nothing wrong with me. And all the while, there's things wrong with you because you don't want to deal with it.
I said it last week, where there's a will, there's a way. I used to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day. And I remember every cigarette for 6 months, every cigarette I smoked, I said, God, please help me take this nasty taste out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. Make me not want this anymore. Whatever I said, with every cigarette I smoked for 6 months straight, and I smoked a pack a day. I don't know how it works, okay? But God works.
Yeah.
That taste was gone. And from that day on, I didn't even sneak a cigarette. I didn't want a cigarette. I didn't look down on the smokers. Yeah. Now, it was gone. Mm-hmm. I didn't, and I had no more longing for it. So it can happen. Your prayer, speak it, confess it, declare it, decree it. It will happen.
It will happen. Yeah.
You have to acknowledge it, and then you have to speak it. You have to do something about it. It's going to be work. Yeah. It can be hard and it can be simple. Mm-hmm. Just like you say to your children, you can learn the hard way or you can do the easy. You choose. Yeah. You choose. Your blessings are your choice.
Yeah. And we out of here. One good thing though, Brenda, that you said that cigarette taste was taken from you. Mm-hmm. Then you started to smoke cigars.
No.
Oh, my fault. I'm sorry. Yeah, but wonderful. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. I really had fun. I enjoy doing this with my wife. It's fun. Faith, family, flow. We don't come on here and try to be all deep with you. We just talk about real issues of life. That's what it's all about, Latoya. Real issues of life. Real people with real issues. You tell me, Lord, take the wheel. Watch her walk behind the church and fire up this cigar.
No. Vaping.
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 Yeah, vape. Look. Y'all have a wonderful night. We love y'all. We'll see you Sunday. God bless.